What other questions? Yes.
I'm Kent Lambert, and I've been on the Joint Budget Committee for the state for the last 9 years. In the last 4 years, I've served with Brian's opponent, and everything he's saying is absolutely true.
Thank you.
Well, almost absolutely true, because I have one exception. But his opponent does not like TABOR, because it's their worst nightmare in the world that to get more money, you have to actually be accountable to the people. He does not want to be accountable to the people. On school choice, we have specific recorded votes that even on bipartisan votes, where we had 2 Democrats voting, well, 3 Republicans and 1 Democrat voting to fund capital construction for our charter schools. There are 3 Republicans and 1 Democrat that voted for it. There were 2 Democrats that voted against it, and Dave Young was one who voted against that. On TABOR, he was one of the Democrats in the House that voted against Senate Bill 200 to have the first even breath of solvency in TABOR. In PERA. I said say PERA.
Thank you.
It's contagious. But he voted against Senate Bill 200 to be the first real serious look at our retirement plans. We can probably talk about this later, but I wrote. We have a organization called the American Legislative Exchange Council, and I wrote the principles of state retirement plans for that organization, carried it through last year. That was passed. Our state is one of the worst states in terms of accountability for our retirement system. And I think what you might have gotten a little bit technically wrong, and somebody mentioned $30 billion state budget. That's the total budget. The general fund is closer to about $12 billion, which is all your taxes, all the sales tax goes to the state. That's about $12 billion. All the other things come from federal funding, from your road taxes, from fees. That's the $30 billion. So when we're talking about really all of our taxes going into a pot that's about $12 billion, it's even worse when you think of it that way. But I think the number is, and we'll have to talk about this, I think the state liability for our retirement system is closer to $68 billion. Because where did you get $30 billion? Well, you got it from PERA. And they have been lying about the insolvency in this. I've run a PERA bill just about every year as long as I've been in the legislature, all of which get killed in the Democrat House. But I think we'll connect you with some people in Independence Institute, which are, just by changing some of the definitions to correct definitions, it's closer to $68 billion. So we have a huge irresponsibility here among the state government. And when did this start? We were actually positive in PERA. We were in the black when Governor Owens was in charge. It was not a negative liability. It was actually more in the bank than, they had excess funding. But when Governor Bill Ritter came in and now Hickenlooper, it has been getting constantly worse and worse and worse. And just like the solvency of our unclaimed property tax, which Dave Young also voted against, and we had a direct vote on that, it's gotten worse and worse. They have no fiscal responsibility. They're glad to spend your money on pet projects and really are irrelevant to them of how much bad finances and irresponsible that really is. And his opponent, Dave Young, is right in the middle of that. Yeah. And I've seen his votes for the last 4 years on, because we have to vote on every single line in the budget. And, in a lot of cases, we vote together because it's, a lot of it's just rolling over budget from the last year. But on these new initiatives, he'll always vote, for more big government and irresponsibility every chance he gets.
Well, I want to acknowledge Senator Lambert and also Secretary of State Wayne Williams for being here as well. Thank you. So, the Senator brings up actually a really important issue, and you probably read about it a little bit, is that one of the critiques, we'll call it a critique, of PERA is that they haven't been forthcoming in sharing the information. And so, like anything in life, I call it dining room table economics. If we all are trying to get a mortgage or send our kids to school or buy that, whatever it is we all want to buy, we have to make the numbers work, right? And there's only so much inflow, and you got to figure out where the outflow is going. And so part of the problem with PERA is that they haven't shared the numbers. And here our state legislature is trying to solve for something that they don't know the magnitude of the issue they're solving for. So if you have a $30 billion problem versus a $68 billion problem, you might want to use different methods to solve for that problem, right? More extreme, whatever it might be. And sadly, we don't know that. So that's why I want to go meet every single PERA board member. I found in life and working with people, you can use a carrot or you can use a stick. And I find a carrot, at first works better. And our current treasurer has done a great job of going in there and bringing it to the forefront of the conversation. Now we need to go in and actually solve it.